everyone, Carl here with Littleroot Lessons, bringing you a Unite video this week. We are getting ready to swap over to our off-season content, if you want to call it that, where I am probably going to focus on playing Unite and showing off some cool builds that I find and tips and tricks like that. And Carter's probably going to navigate into more challenge runs, like he's working on the egg lock right now. I know he's got some other stuff down the pipeline planned. And so while we're waiting for Scarlet and Violet to come out, we're going to be focusing on covering some other games right now instead of our normal VGC stuff. That all being said, I know Unite Season 2 is getting ready to start. I believe that is next Friday. It is. So a week from today is the new season of Unite, and there is a whole lot to be excited for. But before we get into all of that stuff, this video is going to be more about getting basics back down for those that may be returning to the game, or those that may not know exactly what a MOBA is, or how to manage their resources and things like that. Make sure to do all that great YouTube stuff for us. Like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. If you want to see more Unite content, hit that bell so you get updated when that stuff comes up. We're going to probably be streaming over either on YouTube or on Twitch more as we get into this more for Unite. I will probably at least stream my master rank, my grind to master rank again next season. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for all that. So for those that don't know how MOBAs or maybe even mobile games work, there's a whole lot of currencies involved in MOBAs and things like that. Usually MOBAs are free-to-play games, and you will have ways to earn certain currencies through playing the game, and other currencies you'll have to purchase out of pocket. These are games that you have to buy things in still. Like, you can free to play Unite and you will get to a point where you can enjoy the game eventually, or you can fast track it with adult money and not have to worry about anything. I personally use adult money because I don't have time, or I don't want to spend the time to grind 30 games a day and do whatever. For those looking to free to play though, my first big tip here is take advantage of what Unite has to offer. Unite does a lot in terms of making the game accessible for everyone, and it gives out a lot of free resources just by playing the game, checking in daily. The first thing to remind people is Fair Play Point Gold is a really cool thing. You get 20 gold for every day that you are above 90 Fair Play Points. This is a super simple, easy thing to get that most people maybe forget sometimes. Definitely, it will tell you that you have it, but you may forget about it and then not collect it, and then it doesn't roll over. It doesn't give it to you automatically. And so definitely collect those things when you can. While on the topic of gold, there's about 4 currencies I would say that you need to get familiar with when you're going to play Unite. The first of which being Eos Coins. You earn up to 2,100 of these per week. This is what you use to help purchase champions for free, help purchase Pokemon for free if you are free to play. Sorry, League of Legends lingo there. Your other big currencies that you can visibly see all the time are your Eos Tickets, which Eos Tickets let you buy like player cosmetics and item enhancers, which those are important for your held items. And then Eos Gems, kind of like the Fast Pass, right? Eos Gems is your adult money. This is where you would, if you are an adult, you would spend $10 or $20 to get a certain amount of gems to buy your next Pokemon, to buy some Hollowware, buy item enhancers, so on and so forth. The last actual currency is the energy system. Energy rewards, if you are a returning player, you would be familiar with from the fashion sense, because there were a lot of fashion locked items behind this, and some really cool Hollowware in the rewards that were very low rolls, but once you got them, they were pretty cool. Now it is the home of the Boost Emblem Gacha game. As you can see, there are boost emblems here that you can grind for, which we'll talk more in depth on what they do in a minute. But the main gist here is to know that this is where you're going to get your boost emblems from. I wouldn't even spend it on fashion items anymore. Definitely start saving them up now, for if you get free rolls a day because there's energy boost campaigns and you can get energy rolls by playing the game. It's super straightforward stuff, but definitely just roll emblems. Don't roll fashion items. It's just not worth it. If you're familiar with MOBAs like League of Legends, Dota, and things like that, you'll know that when you get into a game, there's a shop. You'll spend your gold that you earn from defeating opposing like minions and players, and buy more items and upgrade your items and so on and so forth. Unite has a similar system, but it's all done outside of game. So Unite has every Pokemon in Unite has a slot for, at the moment, 3 held items. They may design things differently later on, but for right now, every Pokemon can hold 3 held items. They vary all over the place, from being attack boosting items like Muscle Band, Muscle Band, Razor Claw, Choice Specs, Weakness Policy, Wise Glasses, so on and so forth. There's defensive items like Leftovers, Eos Cookie, Focus Band, Assault Vest, Score Shield. They kind of give HP and defensive stats. And then there's some cool utility ones like EXP Share, which kind of spreads some EXP around if you're under leveled. There's some dual items like Weakness Policy that gives you HP and attack, which is kind of cool. There's Float Stone that gives you attack and movement speed. And so there's a lot of cool different ways to build each Pokemon using the held items. You'll see in the top corner way up there in the little one that says the 28, that is the item enhancers. What those do is every item when you buy it originally starts at grade 1 or level 1. You can use item enhancers to level it up over time, going to level 10, level 20, and they all max out at 30. You can see here that I've been playing the game for a while. I have a lot of level 30 items. Do not feel pressured to get all of your items to level 30. Honestly, don't feel pressured to get all your items to level 20 right away. If you are not really interested in spending a whole lot of money on this game, there is plenty of ways to earn item enhancers, whether it's through season points, level up points, tickets. Like Unite gives you plenty of ways to earn currency via playing the game, and you will get there eventually. The way most held items work is they have flat stats, which you'll see attack 15, basic attack speed plus 7.5%, and then they also have a static effect that they apply. In terms of Muscle Band, when a basic attack hits, the damage is increased by 3% of the opposing Pokemon's remaining HP. All held items have stats like flat stats and have an effect, and it varies between the different held items. I know here recently they introduced like Choice Specs, Weakness Policy, and I think the Special Attack Specs was the other one. They introduced a handful. Oh, it was Razor Claw. That was it. They introduced these 3. They'll probably introduce more held items as the game goes on. So it'll be a never-ending grind to kind of collect held items, level them up, and so on and so forth. I mentioned it earlier about not feeling the need to max them out. The most you ever probably need to get a held item to for it to be considered usable by master rank standards is level 20. That is when the item effect is essentially maxed out. After that, every grade point you get after that just increases the flat stats that it gets to a point, and usually the flat stats aren't what you're playing the item for. The next big hurdle I want to talk about is the Boost Emblem system. This is a new system recently implemented. I believe it's only been out for a few months at this point, but this is essentially what I would define as runes. If you're coming from like another MOBA game, League of Legends, Dota 2, and things like that, what these essentially do is it gives stat boosts to your Pokemon, kind of lets you personalize each Pokemon a little bit more than you already can. The big things to get out of the emblem system is they all affect flat stats, and they all have a color. The color currently is the more important part on these emblems rather than the flat stats that they give. Take this Bulbasaur for example. It is a green emblem that lowers your HP by 40, but gives you 2.5 special attack. This is a silver rank emblem. As you can see here, way over to that side, pointing's hard on the video. I have 0 bronze, I have 2 silver. You can get a silver by getting 3 bronze. You can get a gold by getting 3 silver. Don't worry about that. Bronze emblems, gold emblems, it doesn't matter. They all count the same when it comes to color, and that's what you need to be remembering from this video. Green emblems boost your special attack. As you can kind of guess, a lot of the grass types are going to have these green emblems. There's some dual colors in terms of like grass and poison, or grass and bug, or bug and poison, or whatever. So what you'll see when you see green Pokemon is usually grass types, bug types, things like that. The next color I want to talk about is brown. This is a physical attack boosting emblem for colors. Well, you'll see it a lot on like ground type emblems, rock type emblems, fighting type emblems, things like that. Overall, this isn't used as much as the special attack emblems, just because there's better ways to boost your attack than trying to use the brown emblems, which, if I remember correctly, 6 brown emblems gets you a 4% boost in attack, which 6 green emblems gets that same amount in special attack, but physical attack doesn't scale the same way as special attack does, so it's weird. We're gonna kind of lightning round the other colors, and we'll get to cooldown to black emblems here in a second. Red is attack speed. This doesn't work how you think it does. I'll leave a link down below to how to use attack speed emblems effectively. There's a whole spreadsheet that you'll input information in, and it'll tell you how this many emblems affects your attack speed, like what's optimal, because the way attack speed works in Unite doesn't make sense. It's frame based instead of timer based, so you have to go through the whole animation before you can start to attack again, and that's what attack speed does. It reduces the amount of time that animation takes to do its thing. And so you'll see it as you go through it. It's like number of frames till this point. Your attack speed emblems may not actually get you to the point of the next bump if you don't have enough, or if you're not the right level, or you don't have the right items. Yellow is movement speed out of combat. Currently we only have 4. Fun fact, to get to the next bump for yellow, you will need 5 yellow emblems, which we can't do right now. So there's no real point in running the yellow emblems at this moment. We'll get more of those when the next patch drops with the new emblems, but for now, don't worry about playing your yellow emblems. The same thing goes for pink. Pink is another one of those super hard to get emblems because fairy types were not really a thing in Gen 1, and that's where they started, is here's all Gen 1 Pokemon for now. And so we only have 4 pink emblems. Again, this is another one where it's 3, 5, 7, and so we can only get the first bump for pink, and so it's just not worth really playing these right now. The next 3 colors I want to talk about are white, blue, and purple. These are all defensive, more defensive emblems, and are easily splashable on certain builds. For white, we have currently only 1 dual color white, but as more flying types get added in, I know we're getting like Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, Dragonite, Gyarados here soon. We'll get other splashable colors to maybe make these builds a little bit more white friendly. White is the HP bonuses. This is 1% HP, 2% HP, and 4% HP when you hit 6. It's not super duper relevant, but on bulkier Pokemon like Snorlax, Blissey, and other defenders, it adds up pretty quickly. Blue is defense when it comes to the color. You'll notice that a lot of the blue Pokemon are water and or ice types. That's just how the game is going to think. The best way to describe this is think the Pokemon trading card game when it comes to typing. How fighting, ground, and rock are all lumped up with that one type. Water and ice are all lumped together as blue. and you'll see some really cool color combinations out of blue in general. I know I'm covering up Slowbro here, but Slowbro is blue and purple, which purple is special defense, so that's really unique for Slowbro specifically. It makes it a very powerful emblem to easily get some defensive or special defensive boosts pretty quickly. Tentacruel is blue and black. Going back to that Slowbro thing, there's this cool combo in the game with Gengar, Slowbro, and Tentacruel to immediately get 2 blue and 2 purple while also being able to max out on your cooldown reduction. So while you're searching through your emblems, if you get this little niche combo here, that's very, very powerful to have. Speaking of purple, purple is special defense, and you'll see a lot of these kind of dual type-y things because purple is listed for poison and psychic, but not all poison type are purple, if that makes sense. It's weird. Purple's currently reserved for like Nidoran line, the Abra line, Slowbro specifically, Hypno, Drowsy, Gengar, Ghost types, things like that. Gengar is a very important emblem to have. Like I mentioned earlier, it combos with Slowbro and Tentacruel, lets you do the whole thing. Gengar is one of the only emblems you'll get for free through just playing the game because you'll get season points. Definitely keep an eye out for you getting your free gold Gengar emblem. The last color I want to talk about is black. Black is currently the most important emblem color in the game because black offers cooldown reduction. For those that don't know what cooldown reduction is, all of your moves and abilities outside of your average basic attack have a fairly long cooldown in terms of the game. Being able to take 8% off of that cooldown is really, really good. When you add in the fact that you have 2 cooldown reducing items that are held items in the game, you can get to essentially 17% cooldown reduction, or taking literally a second and a half off of some of these cooldowns. So my big other takeaway here from the emblem system, besides not worrying about what rarity your emblems are, make sure you trying your best to get your 7 black to start right now. That is really, really important. You'll thank me later when you have your 7 black emblems and are winning games of Unite left and right. Before we get away from emblems here and kind of wrap up the video, I wanted to go over a couple example builds for early people, like to figure out so they know what to kind of look for when they're going into the emblem system. 7 black and 6 green is really strong for all of your special attackers in the game. Think Delphox, Sylveon, Glaceon, anything that uses special attack as an offensive attack. 7 black, 6 green is going to probably be the optimal emblem build you can get, regardless of what actual emblems they are. The flat stats that you get off of these emblems usually aren't that important, outside of one, which we'll talk about here in a second, but focusing on getting all of your colors to match up so you get the maximum amount of bonuses is super important. Like for the case here, we have our 7 black, which is 8% cooldown, and then we have 6 green, which is 4% special attack. These outweigh the flat stat negatives that we're getting. And so when you go to do your boost emblems, even if it's just not great because you're reducing your special attack, the percentages you are going to get are worth much more than the -3, -5 special attack you're going to have. This page here is my all-rounder kind of physical attacker build that when I'm not playing my last page on, I'm usually playing this one. This is maximum cooldown reduction. I have 3 purple, 2 blue, and 2 brown. The optimal build here would be having Tentacruel in a slot, so I don't have to play the Poliwrath up here, and I could play Nidoqueen, and so I would have 7 black, 4 purple, 2 blue, and 2 brown. You could also kind of swap these things around, max out on brown emblems and kind of cut back on black emblems depending on how you're feeling, what you're playing. Because if your Pokemon doesn't really need the cooldown reduction, then playing and maxing out on brown emblems is usually fine. But for all intents and purposes, I think cooldown maximization is most important overall. and utilizing that to its fullest potential is probably the best way to play. So I know I just talked about the flat stats here not really mattering too much. Critical hit is the one flat stat, that static stat, that matters. You want to make sure that you are boosting critical hits for certain Pokemon, because critical hits are really, really good. Just like in VGC, when you get a critical hit, it deals boosted damage to the target. And so increasing your odds of doing that is going to help exponentially in your overall damage output. There are also items that increase your critical hit rate, and certain moves also increase your critical hit rate. So there will be certain Pokemon where building all crit is the way to do it. Think things like Absol, Machamp, Aegislash, and things like that. While I have this page up, I also want to talk about the other unique mechanic about emblems, and it's how stacking emblems works. In order to get your color bonuses, you have to have different named emblems. And so you can see here, I have a Silver Sandshrew and 2 Bronze Sandslash. That only counts as 2 brown emblems because I only have 2 unique brown emblems on this page. At the same time, Emblem Rarity doesn't mean anything either. Emblem Rarity just increases or decreases the number, how the flat stats work. In the case of this one, I have a Silver Meowth and a Silver Persian, and a Bronze Meowth and a Bronze Persian. These are all considered the same name, so I don't get the full 6+ value out of HP, whereas if I had different Pokemon in here that were still white, I would. And so I know it'll be a little bit of a grind. This is probably the biggest choke point in Unite for players by far, because it requires you to play the game consistently. It requires you to be active all the time on it, which most MOBAs do in order to do this stuff. But this is their way of keeping players engaged, and I completely understand that this is how they want to do it, rather than let people buy them like they could have done. And that's all I got this week. I hope this Unite video gets you excited and pumped to maybe reach out and explore this game before the new patch drops, because when the new patch drops, everybody's going to be scrambling to play it. So maybe getting comfortable with the setups and the systems and things like that before playing your first game on the Thea Sky Ruins would be a good idea. If you like what you see, again, make sure to do all that fun YouTube stuff for us. Like, comment, subscribe. Outside of that, I don't really have a whole lot to say on the outro here. I know that VGC not really having any kind of events is going to throw a wrench in our viewership plans. It's really going to hurt us for a little while, but we hope that you stick around with us through this rough little spot, and we'll be doing more VGC content real soon. Outside of all that, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world. Come join the Discord if you want to play with me. I'm always looking for people to at least play casually with. If you really need some ranked help and you're close to master, I can help with that too. But outside of all that, we will see you all on Monday for the podcast episode. Bye, everyone.